See, this is another, there will be 3 quotes every year. There's another quote: faith is of no avail in the absence of strength. Faith and strength both are essential to accomplish any great work. Will you be surprised if I tell you this is also a repeat question? And ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा घिसा पिटा question है. This is one of the most often asked question in the exam, in the question paper. Most often asked. Faith, you know what is faith? Faith is belief. Belief develops conviction. And once you're convinced on the idea, when you agree with it, when conviction compels agreement, then that becomes your standard or principle, or to say value, or to say ethics. Your ethics comes from your faith. We believe that Constitution is supreme. Supremacy of Constitution comes from our faith in the Constitution. It comes from our belief in the Constitution. So it's the belief or the faith that develops the standards which we accept, that becomes common standard, and those common standards by definition is ethics. Faith is of no avail in the absence of strength. Strength gives courage. Courage is the determination to act even in adversity, and that is called as integrity. So with these two change of phrase, if I read the question again, if I change faith to ethics, ethics is of no avail in the absence of integrity. Ethics and integrity are essential to accomplish any great work. It will be not wrong, rather it will be more enriching if I do the replacement of these two terms. And you will find plethora of questions. UPSC has asked umpteen number of times this idea that ethics by itself is not enough. It requires integrity. Ethics is of no avail. Ethics is of no use. Ethics is weak. Ethics is useless. Ethics can actually misfire, backfire if there is no integrity. Ethics is extremely weak without integrity. And it is ethics and integrity both that is required for great work. So basically, I've introduced the 3 terms, as I have told you, that which is the step 1 in answering the code-based question. The 3 terms, those 3 terms are ethics, strength, and great work. Faith, I've linked it with belief, ethics, trust. Strength, I've linked it with courage, conviction, integrity. And great work. Great, UPSC often has used the word great in the question paper. Great rulers, great leaders. Great would mean that is really catering to whole of humanity. The scale at which any work is taking place, good work, that make it great. So if you are practicing virtue, of course it's good. It is good because it is moral. It is great because it is for everybody. It is on large scale. So Sarvodaya, Udaya of all, development of all, that is great. Common good is great. Good of all, public good, public interest is great. Justice at human level is great. So you translate from good to great if you go on a larger scale. Great work, I've rated great work with Sarvodaya, common good, public service, these are the 3 key terms or phrases in the question. Now I have done that, that's my introduction. I've introduced the quote. Now I'll tell what exactly is I understand with the quote. But I understand with the quote, since there are 2 sentences, I'll break down it into 2 parts. Faith is of no avail in absence of strength, or to say ethics is of no avail in absence of integrity. So this is the title of your paper, ethics, integrity, and aptitude. You have to know these 3 terms very well, and you have to know the interconnection of these 3 terms very well. It's part of your basic foundation study. So you just have to prove that without integrity, ethics will be weak. What is ethics? Ethics are standards and principles. It is integrity that brings them into effect. Integrity is action. Integrity gives effect to ethics. If integrity is not there, then ethics will be just in the books and the canons, in the libraries, only in the discussions of people, only in the minds of people. It will be very theoretical. As Socrates has said, that morality, ethics is practical science. It's not theoretical. What makes it practical from theoretical? That is integrity. So without ethics, integrity is very weak. It is theoretical. Many a times it will be useless. So ethics is of no avail without integrity. There is an idea of Aristotelian virtue ethics, and virtue means habitual values, things that have been come into our habit. Ethics is about knowledge of the good, and integrity is about habitually doing the good. So this philosophical idea also talks about integrity, and without integrity, ethics is of no avail. Whether you talk of Kantian deontology, it's one issue of being aware of your duty, and it's another to consistently fulfill your duty. To consistently fulfill your duty, even in adversity, never violate the principles, never violate your dutifulness. That is integrity. So, what protects ethics? Ethics is protected by integrity. Otherwise, in times of difficulty, in times of adversity, ethics will be compromised. So in times of difficulty, ethics is of no avail. Ethics is protected by integrity. Ethics is expanded by integrity. Integrity expands the standards of ethics. Integrity grows ethics. Integrity is to be integrated in your principles, in your inner self. And if ethics, there are 2, 3 ethics you understand, a build-up of values, there are multiplicity of values. So different values have to align with each other. They have to shape each other so that you have one coherent response in any situation from your personal ethics or from any other societal ethics or administrative ethics or constitutional ethics. So value alignment has to be there. So values are fused with one with the other. That is a job of integrity. Integrity expands the standards of ethics. Integrity, if there is no integrity, there'll be cognitive dissonance. If there's a gap between ethical knowledge and behavior. So ethics will burden you. It is said that ignorance is bliss. If you're ignorant, you are not aware of your duties. If you're not aware of right and wrong. In that case, there is no cognitive dissonance. There is no guilt for not doing things. There is no crisis of conscience. You'll be happy because you're ignorant. But if you have ethics, you are not ignorant. You're aware of right and wrong. You're aware of right standards. But now you're not acting. If you do not act, there's a gap between ethics and integrity. There'll be cognitive dissonance. So ethics is of no avail in absence of integrity. In various ways, I have proven this point that unequivocally that ethics is of no avail without integrity. That's first part of the quote. Using theories of the paper, I've answered that. Very basic, very, very basic. See, the second part of the quote is strength and integrity both are essential for great work. They both are essential because we have to have a shared moral vision, that is ethics, and commitment and dedication in execution. If you do not have a shared moral purpose, like of independent yet united India, the moral vision of Gandhi, or the shared moral vision of Dr. Ambedkar of classless society. So if you do not have that vision, then things are not going to work. You cannot have great work. But if you do not have commitment and dedication and spirit of service to implement that, as Dr. Ambedkar had, as Mahatma Gandhi had, as Sardar Patel had, as Nehru had, as Subhash Chandra Bose had, as Jyotirao Phule had, as Montek Singh Ahluwalia had, you have to have commitment. So you require both grand vision, grand ethical moral vision, a shared vision, and unwavering commitment, that is dedication, which is an element of integrity. You require both. You require both for great works. There has to be resolving ethical dilemmas. For great work, you have to deliver justice at large level. And to deliver justice, what is justice? That question is coming. They have asked a question on justice. Justice is giving people their due. And giving people their due, when you have to give everybody their due, you're bound to be caught in the conflict. Because different people can be claiming different kind of due. And it could be conflicting. One group's due could be conflicting at times with the due of other people. So when you have to deliver justice, you have to deal with ethical dilemmas. How to resolve ethical dilemma? With the standards. You have to learn to implement the standards. While resolving ethical dilemma, you require both. You require clarity of the standards, that's ethics, and you require harmony, you require unity, you require balance of the standards. And that is integrity. To integrate things one with the other, to sum things up together. So ethical dilemma, important part in dealing with diversity, justice delivery in diversity, that requires both. Similarly, ethical leadership, that requires both. Persuasion, Persuasion, you have to practice ethics, you have to become a role model, you have to express your character, and you have to be patient with people in persuading them, sensitively communicating with them. That is the element of integrity. For innovation, you have to work within ethical boundaries, you have to have ethics, you have to have empathy and compassion as well. Empathy fuels imagination and innovation. So, for great work, you have to require these things. You require these things. For great work, you have to learn work on a larger scale. You have to work with persuasion, you have to work with leadership, you have to develop moral coherence. That will develop great work. And that great work will require both a great vision, great standard, and a great commitment and dedication and great innovative ideas. So for great work, you require both. It's a simple way. It's a very, very simple question, basically. But you can argue in 3, 4 ways, actually, to answer the question. That is justification. Now you have to complement and give some prescription as to how to implement it. How to implement. The thing is that the quotation is saying of Sardar Patel that integrity is required as much as ethics is required. Both are required for great work. So the protection of both comes from aptitude, and that is the full title of your paper. The title of your paper is Ethics, Integrity, and Aptitude. Aptitude nurtures both ethics and integrity. Like moral sensitivity, I made you write as the first thing we did in the first question, moral sensitivity. It is written in Bhagavad Gita, compassion is the root of all dharma. That's a translated word, compassion. You can translate that as sensitivity or empathy as well. Moral sensitivity is not just the beginning of decision making process and your judgment, it is the beginning of the ethical journey of a man as well. Moral sensitivity, that's part of aptitude. If you are more sensitive, you will reform the laws. For example, you will abolish slavery, you will abolish sati, you will abolish triple talaq. If you are sensitive, you will make better standards. If you are sensitive, then you'll also implement the standards. What nurtures both of them, ethics and integrity, is aptitude. So that would be the prescription. That will also be the complementary point for the quotation.